Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I have a new one for you today. This is a Micro 9 from Taurus, and it is the GX4, but it's the TORO model right here with an Optic cut from the factory. Now, before we get into this review, I want to give a special thanks to Taurus. Reached out, asked if I can get one of these in as a loaner to kind of test out, put it through its paces, and they sent me this one. I thought it was a great option because it is a more of a budget Micro 9mm compared to some of the more expensive options on the market, and it comes from the factory with an optics cut, which is also something that seems to be more popular in the market these days. Also, a special thanks to TrueShot, who sent me over about a half a case of 9mm to run through this, and that turned out to be just perfect to run this through its paces. Time for a little variety hour. Complete mixed bag of ammunition in this magazine. Let's see how the Taurus does. Here we go. There you go. From the factory, here it is right here. I have a Riton. It is a shield footprint on here, so this is the smaller Riton red dot here, one of the micros they sell. And this is a good size, because you can see it doesn't overlap too much at all, but any of the smaller shield footprint type of red dots will do on here. Just note that it does come with a plate on top, and it did not come with any extra screws, so I had to dig out some extra screws from other red dots to make it work. So heads up there, but it's not exactly a modular kit. You just kind of get the optics ready version. And again, this is more of a budget sub $400 gun, which is actually a really good deal. Iron sights, front, white dot, rear, blacked out. Very nice. A little bit of anti-glare on the back there. Not too bad. About maybe like the shield type of weight for the slide trigger. Terrible. Not the best though. You can kind of see right there, reset. You can go all the way out. A little gritty. Probably clean it up a little bit with a bunch more rounds. Has about 700 rounds through it so far though, and has run great. No issues reliability wise. Very accurate. I did run all the different types of ammunition through it just to kind of get a little 5-round groups on paper to kind of see how that did. Time for some accuracy testing with some different types of ammunition. Up first is Blazer Brass 9mm 115 grain FMJ. 5 rounds. Top left, 5 yards. Top left. Here we go. All right, not too bad. Let's mark it. Try it again. Up next, steel cased ammunition, Red Army Standard, 115 grain, 5 rounds, 5 yards, top right. Up next, Cellular and Bellet 9mm FMJ, a little bit heavier, 124 grain stuff. Brass, right here. 5 rounds, 5 yards, bottom right. Last up, Cellular and Bellet, this time 115 grain, jacketed hollow points. Brass, 5 rounds, 5 yards, bottom left. Bonus mag, 5 rounds, blazer brass. Right in the middle, I put a dot. This stuff is just super affordable. I mean, it's what I shoot all the time. So I want to see if I can clean it up a little bit. Try to hit right in the middle, and then we'll take a look at the target. Top left here, blazer, 115 grain. It's the first group there. That's all right. Then you go over here, Red Army Standard, cleaned up a little bit, 2 went in right there. Cellular and Bellet, 124 grain, pretty clean. 124 grain is usually a really good weight there. Cellular and Bellet, 115 grain. Jacketed hollow point, not too bad. And then I did manage to clean up this blazer brass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a little bit. Overall, I mean, it's a micro 9, so don't beat yourself up, but this is a good interpretation of what you can do just offhand shooting at 5 yards. So it holds its own. I mean, 5-yard groups, you know, it kind of depends on the shooter, how this fits in the hand, and everyone's a little bit different, but I think it did pretty good for what it is and for what that trigger is. It's also very boxy, I think, in terms of compared to things like the Shield that is kind of a real thin, kind of rounded off grips and things like that, right? But then also you have the SIG P365, which is all about like that sleek, sexy, ergonomic look. This is more coming out of left field where you have this removable back strap. You have a little bit more of a boxy grip, but it fills the hand really well. And it doesn't really feel cheap when shooting it or holding it. You have the magazines here. You have a 11 rounder. It looks like a 10 rounder, but it's actually an 11 rounder. And these are actually pretty cool. They're made in Italy. They are from Mekgar, made right in Italy. Cool little yellow follower there. This with the little no pinky extension there is almost just fine. Just like that. And you have here, this is actually the same magazine, Mekgar 11 rounder with a +2 base plate, brings you to 13. And that fills your hand just as well as any of the other competitors in the market. Slide release. Can be done with one finger. It's a little stiff, not too bad, not as bad as like the original Gen 1 Shield. Just pointing the actual handgun, even if you're not doing the red dot, you can do the red dot just fine, but if you're not doing the red dot, just pointing it out. Not too bad. Now for a couple of negatives here, and then we'll kind of go take a closer look at how this is built and what it looks like up close and what you get in the actual box and the package. But one thing is, I mentioned it's kind of boxy, all right? So it might not be perfect for everyone, but you do have this back strap to remove. That's good, okay? But one thing I noticed, putting this in, if you notice something right here, there is, and I'll show you guys a close up here in a minute, there is kind of a crack in between the magazine and the frame where your pinky, or at least my stubby fat pinky apparently, sits right there. And you know, it's not too bad when you're reloading. You know, pretty easy, pretty smooth. It doesn't happen with this one. All right, there's no real pinching there, but that's what happens. You basically get pinched. So when you're shooting it, this tends to wobble back and forth a little bit, like mags do. They have a little bit of wiggle room there. And I ended up, you're shooting it, and as it's recoiling and then grabbing the next round, the magazine moves, and I noticed actually pinching my pinky finger, which is crazy. Just, you know, just pinching it a little bit. Usually you get like slide bite or something else, but it was kind of weird to have like a pinch on that finger. But that kind of comes along with the territory for some of these magazines that have a base plate on it, that it actually extends the grip and not just the magazine capacity itself. So it's something to note right there. Magazine release on this side, a little bit of texture there. Reversible as well, but no issues at all. Mags drop out just fine. You have the serrations up front and in the back. Easy to grip. Again, not too bad of a slide there. No flashlight cut or any kind of light mount or anything like that up here. I don't know if they're gonna have anything that kind of clips on here, but no kind of rail or any kind of proprietary thing there. And the grip texture is very nice. I mean, it does remind me of something like the SIG P365. So it's very comfortable, stays pretty grippy as well. Another issue I did have is because you're running your own kind of screws in here, which I wish they had provided a set of screws that might be able to fit different red dots, at least get the right thread pitch into the frame here, or into the slide, because the slide is milled for these shield footprint optics. I wish that they had actually provided some screws, because the ones I had were just okay. They're kind of just cheap ones. I think they might even came with a Ride-On, honestly. And I had to put a bunch of Loctite on there, and even then, at one point it loosened up a bit, and I was shooting, and it ended up just shooting off, and I was like, what is happening? Sure enough, you look, try to kind of do a co-witness with the actual iron sights themselves, and it was kind of wiggling back and forth, and you can kind of see it was drifting off to the right, and I had to go home and Loctite it more, crank it down, torque it down real nice, and keep it from moving. Oh, my dot. Yep. I was like, why is it throwing shots the last couple of mags? Look what loosened up. So let's take a look at this a little bit up more close and personal, and talk about a little bit more of the features and show you how to kind of take this apart for maintenance. So what do you get when you pick one of these up? You get the GX4 TORO itself, no red dot included. You get the 11 round mag right there. Get the 13 round mag right there. Case right here. Nice little case though. Nice hard Taurus case. Open it up. Instructions, lock, tag, zip tie, removable back strap. So on this one here, you can kind of see, gotta line it up. This one's a little bit bigger. Get a feel for that right there. So if you have a little bit bigger hands, this will help fill it up even more, which is good. You get the plate that goes on top with the two screws that are in there. It goes on like that. So if you prefer iron sights, it could be the way to go. I think this isn't too much more than the standard GX4. So might as well get that. You have this little miniature tool right here. And what this is just a little tiny GX4. Pew, 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 pew. Nope, this actually has a little flat piece on here. And this is another slight negative to this platform. Because if you flip it over, you see this slot right here. That's the Takedown, which is unfortunate. So check to make sure you're unloaded. Move this out of the way. You have to pull the trigger, flip it over, take your little tool here, or a bullet case, or another flathead type of tool you have lying around. You can do a quarter turn to your counterclockwise to the left. This should slide right off like so. And now you have all of the Takedown here. So you have your frame with the rails there. Over here, you have a very stiff guide, rod, and spring assembly. All captured right there. Super dirty. I mean, no cleaning yet. I'll probably do a cleaning video on here, so stay tuned. Just nasty. Like, but again, 100% reliability. I haven't had any issues. Even with the Optic, sometimes the Optic, depending on how heavy it is, throws off the reliability and kind of causes some malfunctions. You can see there, typical striker fired. No surprises. I mean, very well done, very clean, at least machining wise. Nice durable finish. It's not really a jet black, it's almost like a gray. Kind of cool. Again, kind of reminds me of like a SIG P365. Put it back together. If you're taking it apart to clean it, maintain, slide the barrel in like so. This is a very tough spring. You can kind of see right there. Sometimes it takes a little bit of maneuvering. There you go. You have to clear this lip right here. So put it in, and then there's nothing really to hold it from going back and forth. kind of can wiggle just a little bit. So make sure it's right in the middle, push down. Now the good part is no levers or anything. You simply slide it back on the end, all the way back, let it go, back in business. Now weight-wise, it does have an Optic on it, so keep that in mind, but it's empty. 16.5. That's really good. 16.5 ounces with the Optic. So budget friendly and lightweight. That's not bad. Magazines. Flush fit. Get you a better feel right there where you're at with your pinky. Again, nothing really to get caught on or anything like that. It does have some grooves in here to strip a mag if you had to. 13 round extended mag. Definitely more real estate, but also you have this little pinch point right here, which could pose an issue, as I have felt on the skin right around here, just from the magazine wiggling back and forth. It's pinched me a couple of times, traditionally kind of back on this corner here. So heads up there. Now, how does this compare to all the other Micro 9s out there? Well, I did a full review on them, comparing it to the new Smith & Wesson CSX. So if you want to check that out, I'll drop a link right up here for you. You can kind of get a good amount of details and some good data points on how this compares. I mean, how the weight compares, how it shoots, how it feels. Just some more of the data points on the magazine capacities, the trigger, all of that good stuff is in that video that I've already done. So take a look at that. Here's the trigger up close. It's really not bad. Like I said, 700 rounds or so through it, about 400, 500 rounds or so of just mixed random steel, hollow points, different types of brass, and then a couple hundred more extra rounds, or a few hundred extra rounds prior, when I did a full review on this, comparing it to the Smith & Wesson CSX, as well as the other Micro 9 World. So if you haven't checked that out already, be sure to check that out. Again, special thanks to Taurus for sending this out. It holds its own, couple of quirks, but overall not too bad. Finish is holding up great over this past few weeks of testing. And it's just a good budget option that's reliable and seems to be very accurate as well. And I think that trigger is only going to get better. And again, thanks to True Shot. I get all my ammo from them anyways, not from them sending it to me all the time. This was a special case, but mostly from me just buying it. They got some of the best prices. And I've been buying there the last couple of years or so. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys found this useful. If you're looking at the GX4, or just specifically that model, or the GX4 TORO with that Optic cut, if you have any questions at all, be sure to hit them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up, really helps me out. Head over to Instagram, follow me there. Like us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet. And I'll see you guys in the next review.